Welcome back, viewers. In the previous video, I introduced you to the Pythagoras Theorem. The Pythagoras Theorem basically states that the square of the height of a right angle triangle plus the square of its base is equal to the square of its hypotenuse. So now we are going to use this theorem to find the lengths of the unknown side of any right angle triangle. In our first triangle, we can see that we have a height of 6 centimeters and a base of 8 centimeters. So we are asked to find its hypotenuse. So according to the Pythagoras theorem, if we take the hypotenuse and square its value, that should be the same as taking its height and squaring its value plus taking its base and squaring its value. Now, since the height of our triangle is 6 centimeters and the base of our triangle is 8 centimeters, when we take the hypotenuse, whatever value it is, and we square its value, that should be the same as 6 squared plus 8 squared. This means that if we take the hypotenuse of this triangle and square its value, this should be the same as 36 plus 64. If we take the hypotenuse and square its value, we should get 100. Now we need to ask, what number that when we square its value, we get 100? What I'm asking here is the square root of 100. So C, which is the hypotenuse, is equal to the square root of 100, which is 10. Now here I have drawn the triangle. I have set the base to 6 centimeters and the height to 8 centimeters. Now, as you can see, when I measure the length of the hypotenuse, I get the same 10 centimeters which we just calculated. Now let's have a look at this triangle. In this triangle, the height is 4 centimeters and the base is 7.5 centimeters. We are asked to find the hypotenuse. So we use the same Pythagoras theorem. If we take its hypotenuse and square its value, that should be equal to 72.25. Now the question is, what number that when we square its value, we get 72.25? That number would be the square root of 72.25, which is 8.5. So the length of our hypotenuse is 8.5 centimeters. And again, when I measure the length of the hypotenuse of this triangle, I get 8.5 centimeters. Now, what about this triangle? This one is a little bit different. We are not asked to find the hypotenuse, but we are asked to find the base. Now, our Pythagoras theorem states that a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. Now, since the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the square of the height and the square of the base, this means that the square of the base is simply the difference between the square of the hypotenuse and the square of the height. This means that the square of the base must be equal to 14.5 squared minus 10 squared. This means that the square of the base should be equal to 210.25 minus 100. This means that the square of the base should be equal to 110.25. Now, we need to ask what number that when we square its value, we get 110.25. That number must be the square root of 110.25, which is 10.5 centimeters. Now, if we go to our real drawing of this triangle, we can see that the length of its base is in fact 10.5 centimeters.